ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3, text number 15. Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajఞe Pratishthitam. Read translation.
Regulated activities are prescribed in the Vedas, and the Vedas are directly manifested from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Consequently, the all-pervading transcendence is eternally situated in acts of sacrifice.
Right. Basically, regulated activities, it is referring to sacrifice. Sacrifice your mind. That means do not listen to your mind. Listen to what God says. So in this way, everyone should perform the sacrifice. And when you perform the sacrifice, then you will attain God. So this is what is mentioned. All pervading transcendence is eternally situated in the acts of sacrifice. When you perform the sacrifice, then you attain God. Previous verse says, Yajna means prescribed duties. And those prescribed duties are coming from God. So one cannot concoct prescribed duty for ourselves. No, it has to come from God. And when you perform that, then you attain God. Read further.
Yajnadharma, or the necessity of work for the satisfaction of Krishna only, is more expressly stated in this verse. If we have to work for the satisfaction of the Yajna Purush, Vishnu, then we must find out the direction of work in Brahman or the transcendental Vedas.
Wait. So prescribed duties comes from God, and by that only we can please God. So this is what is saying that identify your prescribed duties or work from the scriptures from Supreme Lord. Read.
The Vedas are therefore codes of working directions. Anything performed without the direction of the Vedas is called as vikarma
Or sinful activities.
or unauthorized or sinful work. Therefore, one should always take direction from the Vedas to be saved from the reaction of work.
So Vedas talk about pious activities and devotional activity, not sinful activity. But if one is not following Vedas, he is doing sinful activity. Read.
As one has to work in ordinary life by the direction of the state, one similarly has to work under direction of the supreme state of the Lord.
Yeah. So one should follow the local government and one should follow the God's government also. If you will not follow local government, you will be punished. If you will not follow God's government, you will be punished. So we are supposed to follow God's government. That means follow God's law prescribed in scriptures. Otherwise, we will be punished. Read.
Such directives in the Vedas are directly manifested from the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So Vedas have come by breathing of the Supreme Lord. The whole universe, the whole creation comes by breathing of the Supreme Lord. So the Vedas also came by the breathing of the Supreme Lord. Lord can do that. Just, just by his breathing, he can bring out the whole wisdom. So that is his potential. He can do anything. He can bring the whole creation. He can bring the whole scriptures by breathing. Breathing.
It is said, Asya Mahato Bhutasya Niswatisam Itat Yada Rugveda Yajurveda Samaveda Tharvan Va.
Karvang Girashya.
The four Vedas, namely the Rigved, Yajurved, Samaved, and Atharved, are all emanations from the breathing of the great personality of God. The Lord, being omnipotent, can speak by breathing air, for as it is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, the Lord has the omnipotency to perform through each of his senses the actions of all other senses. In other words, the Lord can speak through his breathing and he can impregnate by his eyes. In fact, it is said that he glanced over material nature and thus fathered all the living entities. After creating or impregnating the conditioned soul into the womb of material nature, he gave his directions in the Vedic wisdom as to how such conditioned souls can return home back to Godhead.
Wait. Basically, it is saying that yes, Lord has immense potency, and just by his breathing, he can bring all the scriptures, and just by his glancing, he transfers all the living entity into the material creation. So these are his extraordinary powers. And he gives his direction to all the living beings in this material world who have been transferred by him. Yes, read.
We should always remember that the conditioned souls in material nature are all eager for material enjoyment. But the Vedic directions are so many that one can satisfy one's perverted desires, then return to Godhead, having finished his so called enjoyment. It is a chance for the conditioned souls to attain liberation. Therefore, the conditioned souls must try to follow the process of yajna by becoming Krishna conscious.
Wait. So Vedic script, Vedic directions are such that if we follow, I mean, if we fulfill our material desires as per scriptures, then our consciousness will be elevated. So, if we have material desires, that should be also fulfilled as per scriptural injunction only. And as far as liberation from this material world is concerned, yes, if we follow the principles of devotion from scriptures, we'll be liberated also. So basically, we are supposed to follow the scriptural principles. Best is to follow the principles of devotion. If not, you may follow the lower principles and you will be elevated further. Read further.
Even those who have not followed the Vedic injunctions may adopt the principles of Krishna consciousness, and that will take the place of performance of Vedic yajnas or karmas.
Yeah. Basically, following Krishna consciousness also implies following Vedic injunctions. So, like Vedic injunctions are there for goodness people, passionate people, ignorant people. It may be possible that they are not following the Vedic injunctions. Fine, follow Krishna conscious injunctions. That is also Vedic. So you practice that, and in this way you get elevated. Next verse. एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयतीह यः आघायुरिन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ सजीवते. Read.
My dear Arjuna, one who does not follow in human life the cycle of sacrifice thus established by the Vedas certainly lives a life full of sin. Living only for the satisfaction of senses, such a person lives in vain.
Yeah. So follow the scriptural principles, then it is safe. If you are not following, then you are performing sinful activity. So if you living your human life for sinful activities, and means you are wasting your human life. because through human life you can perform pious activities or devotional activities and get elevated. But you are simply degrading yourself by performing sinful activity. So then it becomes wasteful life if one is not following the scriptural injunction or simply performing sinful activities. So better follow scriptural injunctions and keep ourselves away from the sin. So so people think that I am living a sinless life. No sinful activities I do. In this world, everyone has to commit sin for the survival. No one can live their life without performing sin. But if one is, some sins are there which happens, we cannot just control it. It will happen. But some other sins which happens because of our wrong desires. So those kinds of sins should be stopped. That means we should desire to be Krishna conscious, to perform, to follow the scriptural principles. Then sinful activities will not happen. So that's how we should live our human life, simply following scriptural principles, Krishna conscious intentions. Then we'll be sinless. So people have their own imagination that I am doing like this, so it is sinless activity. No, we have to fully confident that whatever we are doing is all for Krishna's pleasure. Then it will be sinless. Otherwise, even a little selfish tendency is there, then it becomes sinful. So, scriptural injunctions are to be followed. Read further.
The Mammonist philosophy of work very hard and enjoy sense gratification is condemned herein by the Lord. Therefore, for those who want to enjoy this material world, the above mentioned cycle of performing yajnas is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, so if you are simply thinking that work and enjoy, no, then you are simply committing sinful activity and making your distressful future if you have this mentality that work and enjoy. No. Follow scriptural injunctions and satisfy Krishna. Then we are in the right direction. Work and enjoy is simply illusion. But if you satisfy Supreme Lord, then you truly enjoy. So that is the path we should practice. So, so to perform scripture injunctions means performing yajna. And that's how we can be happy. Read.
One who does not follow such regulations is living a very risky life, being condemned more and more. By nature's law, this human form of life is specifically meant for self realization in either of the three ways, namely karma yoga, Jnana Yoga, and or Bhakti Yoga.
Wait. So if you are not following scriptural injunctions, then surely very risky line because lot of troubles may come. They are very dangerous. So better we should follow scriptural injunctions and realize God. So three processes are described: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Karma Yoga people they are ensuring to act in such a way that they are offering their devotion to Supreme Lord. Jnana Yoga people are acting to simply acquire more and more knowledge from scriptures. And Bhakti Yoga people, they offer their loving devotion to Supreme Lord. They may be having knowledge, but the essence of all that knowledge or ultimate fruit of all that knowledge is loving service to the Supreme Lord. So that's how we should practice bhakti, loving service to Supreme Lord. We should not get entangled in karma yoga or jnana yoga. Read.
There is no necessity of rigidly following the performances of the prescribed yajnas for the transcendentalists who are above vice and virtue, but those who are engaged in sense gratification require purification by the above mentioned cycle of yajna performances.
Wait. So if someone is devotee, he need not perform all these Vedic sacrifices to get some material results. Because he is practicing Krishna consciousness, which is higher than all these Vedic yajnas. But those who are not Krishna conscious, they want some material results only, materialistic sense gratification only. So such people, they definitely practice yajnas as per scriptural intentions. But as far as devotees are concerned, not in need. And they practice devotional principles, not Vedic yajna principles. Read.
There are different kinds of activities. Those who are not Krishna conscious are certainly engaged in sensory consciousness. Therefore, they need to execute pious work. The Yajna system is planned in such a way that sensory conscious persons may satisfy their desires without becoming entangled in the reaction of sense gratifying work.
Right. So that's what I said. Scriptural principles, if you are following, it will elevate our consciousness. It's not going to degrade our mentality, degrade our consciousness. That is why it is said yoga systems planned in such a way that we will satisfy our desires without getting entangled into it and increasing our devotion for the Supreme Lord. So that's how the yogic principles in scriptures are spoken. Read.
The prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts but on the background arrangement of the Supreme Lord, directly carried out by the demigods. Therefore, the yajnas are directly aimed at a particular demigods mentioned in the Vedas. Indirectly, it is the practice of Krishna consciousness because when one masters the performance of yajnas, one is sure to become Krishna conscious.
Wait. So here it is said, prosperity of the world depends not on our own efforts, but on background arrangement of the Supreme Lord. That means prosperity of everyone. Not just prosperity of the world, prosperity of everyone depends not on our own efforts, but by the arrangement of the Supreme Lord. So everyone wants to be prosperous in this world. So a clear statement is there. Doesn't depend upon your own efforts. Everyone wants prosperity, but it's not depending upon your own efforts. It is simply depending upon Lord's arrangement. So it is depending upon Lord's arrangement. Why not be devotee? Why not be devoted to Supreme Lord more and more? So prosperity doesn't depend upon our own efforts. So it's a illusion that people are endeavoring for prosperity, keeping God away. No. Our first priority is practice basic Krishna conscious principles which are expected from all of us. Chant 16 rounds more and more in the morning, read books daily, and perform the regular worship which is expected, and some service to temples. So, if we practice these basic principles, and apart from it, we can do some other services in the world to earn prosperity, knowing very well that it depends upon the Supreme Lord, not on my endeavor. We can try, but what is expected is devotional principles and other things, but worldly activities for prosperity, all that is secondary. Because anyway, it doesn't depend upon our own efforts. So why to make it primary? Let it be secondary. Let my devotion to the Supreme Lord be primary. So that's how we are supposed to be serious in devotional practices. So prosperity depends upon the Supreme Lord's arrangement. And that is why when one performs yajna for the pleasure of Lord, mostly he will become prosperous by Lord's grace. Read further.
But if by performing yajnas one doesn't become Krishna conscious, such principles are counted as only moral codes.
That means he performed the yajna without any internal thought feelings. He just performed yajna as an external activity without his mind and heart into it. Okay. Just considering the value system of the society, he is performing yajna without his heart towards the Supreme Lord. So, such people will not become devoted to Supreme Lord. Read.
One should not therefore limit his progress only to the point of moral codes, but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So, someone is waking up early in the morning and he is also cleaning the temple of the Lord, blessing the Lord, and doing other spiritual practices. And another person, he is also doing the same thing, but with lot of feelings for the Lord's pleasure. So one is doing simply as moral code that yes, we should rise early in the morning, do this, do that, without any feelings there for the Lord. Mechanically, he does moral codes. Another person who is doing with feelings, he is really becoming Krishna conscious, devoted to Supreme Lord. So activities should be performed with feelings. So like you are chanting, it could become very mechanical, and you can chant with prayerful feeling for the Supreme Lord. So that's how we are supposed to chant with prayerful feelings, not mechanical. Yes, it is mechanical at this stage, but leaving it mechanical only without any effort for improvement in it is not good. So this improvement is expected that we should be devoted. We should have prayerful feeling for the Lord. So regarding chanting, and there are other practices also, chanting or reading scriptures and serving in the temple. So we should perform all these activities with prayerful feeling. Otherwise, it becomes mechanical activity and counted as only moral codes. That yes, he does good like that. It's only moral code. It doesn't make us very much Krishna conscious. Consciousness means thoughtful feelings. So we have to practice all these principles with prayerful feeling for the Lord, and we can become Krishna conscious. Read.
but should transcend them to attain Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. Next verse. यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यादात्मतृप् यस् यस्त्वात्म यस्त्वात्मर यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव यस्त्वात्मरतिरेव स्यात् आत्मतृप्तश्च मानव आत्मन्येव च सन्तुष्टस् तस्य कार्यं न विद्यते. Read.
But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satisfied, for him there is no duty.
Hmm. Either you perform scriptural duty given in scriptures, or you remain absorbed fully in the Supreme Lord, then you don't have to perform any other scriptural duty. So here it is talked about that person who is fully absorbed in Supreme Lord. He is not absorbed in the material features of this world. He is fully absorbed in Supreme Lord. So such people need not perform Vedic scriptural duty because they are already fully absorbed in Krishna. It's like this. Just like let's say someone is already having well-paying business, all that, okay, and he's doing all that, running all that. Just an example to say that he's already good business and he is successfully running it, he doesn't need to pursue the higher education. What for? He is already having good business, he is making money. Why to pursue higher education? So, like that. You are already absorbed in Krishna. The consciousness is fully for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Why for you have to, what is the need for you to perform other scriptural duties? Because you are already absorbed in Krishna. You don't need to perform scriptural duties like 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 for example yagyas. No need to perform yagya. For example, I would say waking up early in the morning. No need because he's already up, he is already awake. He doesn't sleep. You understand? He doesn't sleep. He's always absorbed in Krishna. So what is the point for him of his duty to wake up? Isn't it? He need not bathe in the holy places because he's already absorbed in Krishna fully. Like that. So he's already attained the highest state. What's the point in performing other duties? He may do it, that's another subject matter, but he doesn't need because he's already absorbed in Krishna. Read over there.
A person who is fully Krishna conscious and is fully satisfied by his acts in Krishna consciousness no longer has any duty to perform. Due to his being Krishna conscious, all impiety within is instantly clean, an effect of many thousands of yajna performances.
Yeah, so it is said that if you are Krishna conscious, that means you are thinking for the pleasure of Krishna and doing the needful for it, then all the sinful reactions are gradually getting cleaned. Okay, our heart becomes pure and it is considered as performing thousands and thousands of yajnas if you are Krishna conscious. So, being Krishna conscious compared to performing thousands of yajnas, so why to perform thousands of yajnas if you are devotee, if you are Krishna conscious? And our heart becomes pure, all the sinful reactions also reduced. This is the benefit of being Krishna conscious, that you don't need to perform yajnas separately. Read.
By such cleaning of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of his eternal position in relationship with the Supreme.
So gradually, as you are Krishna conscious in a purer and purer manner, then you realize your relationship with the Supreme Lord. Read.
His duty thus becomes self-illuminated by the grace of the Lord, and therefore he no longer has any obligations to the Vedic injunctions.
Wait. So he has no obligation. Like Vedic scriptures may be speaking thousands and thousands of things. But the one who is devotee is not obliged for practicing all that because he is practicing devotional principles. Just like one of the principles is feed the birds and other animals before you eat. Devotee may not practice this because he's already absorbed in devotion, benefiting the whole world. Just like Madhavendra Puri. He was hardly eating. He was always absorbed in remembrance of Krishna. He was hardly eating. See, if he himself is not eating, not collecting any food, that means he is not feeding the birds and the other animals. He is not following that Vedic intention. No issue, because he is performing a higher activity by being absorbed in devotion for Krishna. So no issue. So like that. So those who are Krishna conscious, they need not perform lower Vedic principles. Read.
Such a Krishna conscious person is no longer interested in material activities and no longer takes pleasure in material arrangements like wine, women, and similar infatuations.
Yeah. So they are so much absorbed in devotion to Supreme Lord, they need not practice even Vedic injunctions. So much advanced. There's a question they are interested in material objects. No question. They are absorbed in Krishna. So that much absorption should be there. Just absorbed in Krishna. Next verse. नैव तस्य कृतेर्नार्थो न कृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चिदर्थव्यपाश्रयः. Read.
A self-realized man has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties, nor has he any reason not to perform such work, nor has he any need to depend on any other living being.
Hmm. So but earlier it is said that such a Krishna conscious person he need not perform any prescribed duty. Now it is said even if he is performing prescribed duties, he doesn't need any material goal out of it. Just like one who is absorbed in Krishna, he need not bathe in holy places, but still he may bathe in holy places, not for some materialistic purpose. He has no materialistic purpose to fulfill. Like that. So he need not bathe in holy places, and even if he bathes, he doesn't have any materialistic purpose, and he doesn't need to bathe in holy places, but there is no reason not to bathe in holy places. Fine, let's bathe like that. Out of our devotion for Krishna, for pleasure of Krishna, like that. So, so they need not practice Vedic injunctions, still they will practice Vedic injunctions. They need not, but why not like that? They need not, but why not? Just like you are already absorbed in Krishna, chanting holy name, fully absorbed in Krishna. You don't need prasad. You are so much absorbed in Krishna, you don't need prasad. But if it comes, why not? I can offer honor prasad. If it comes, why not? That is also devotional activity. I am already absorbed in devotion to Supreme Lord. So I don't need to honor prasad. But if it comes, why not honor prasad? In our case, we need to honor prasad, without which it's difficult for us. So, so such a self-realized person or who are fully absorbed in Krishna, they have no duty to perform except devotion. And still, they will perform the duties with devotion. They don't have any other purpose. Okay. So again, I will clarify. Such a Krishna conscious person has no duties to perform in the world, but still he performs the duties of this world with devotion. And he doesn't have any other purpose for it. See, he need not perform activities of devotion, but still he performs activities of devotion without any other purpose. Read further.
A self-realized man is no longer obliged to perform any prescribed duty, save and except activities in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not activity either, as will be explained in the following verses.
Wait, Krishna consciousness is not inactivity. That means I will not do anything. I am absorbed in Krishna, so I will not do anything. Yes, he doesn't need to perform prescribed duties, but still he performs. He's already absorbed in Krishna, but he performs the other duties in devotion for Krishna. So he doesn't remain inactive, he is always active in devotion for Krishna. Read.
A Krishna conscious man does not take shelter of any other person, man, or demigod. Whatever he does in Krishna consciousness is sufficient in the discharge of his obligation.
Hmm. Yeah, so he's fully absorbed in Krishna, always thinking of Krishna, trying to serve Krishna, please Krishna. So he doesn't bother about other people, other relatives, other demigods, only Krishna. So he performs only Krishna consciousness and thus he doesn't have any other duty towards society, relatives, family, and all that. He's so absorbed in Krishna. But he still performs his duty like that. Next verse. तस्मादसक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो हि आचरन् कर्म परं प्राप्नोति पुरुषः.
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty, for by working without attachment, one attains the Supreme.
Mm. So we all plan for the fruits. You plan for the fruits not for yourself. You plan for the fruits for Krishna. If you are planning the fruits for yourself, then you are becoming attached. Okay. And you will be bound. Very simple. If you are planning for the fruits for yourself, see, planning you cannot stop. You are thoughtful being, you think, and you will plan. So planning will not be stopped. But if you are planning for yourself, That means you are binding yourself in this material world. It's not good for you. But if you are planning for Krishna, you are planning for the fruits for Krishna, then you are not becoming attached to the fruits, you are becoming attached to Krishna. So this is what is said here. Don't be attached to the fruits, be attached to Krishna, and then you will attain the supreme. Very clear. Don't be attached to the fruits and be attached to Krishna. If you are so, I will again clarify. If you are planning for the fruits for yourself, you will be attached. If you are planning for the fruits for Krishna, you will not be attached. And in that state, when you are not attached, then you will attain the supreme. So this is how we are supposed to act. Act for the pleasure of Krishna. Read from there.
The Supreme is the personality of Godhead for the devotees and liberation for the impersonalist. A person, therefore, acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness, under proper guidance and without attachment to the result of the work, is certainly making progress towards the supreme goal of life.
Wait. So people have different conceptions. So impersonalists think that the goal is to attain Brahmajyoti, and devotees feel that goal is to serve the Supreme Lord. Yes. So we should be like devotee whose goal is to attain the service for the Supreme Lord. So if we are same thing which I said, you are planning for the fruits for yourself, then you are becoming attached. But if you are planning for the fruits for Krishna, then you will not become attached to those fruits or results. Then you will progress in spiritual life. So basically, we should not be attached to the fruits of this world. We should be attached only to Krishna and we will grow in Krishna consciousness. Read.
Arjuna is told that he should fight in the battle of Kurukshetra for the interest of Krishna because Krishna wanted him to fight.
See, it is not told Arjuna that fight to win. Then you are in the wrong track. No, fight for Krishna. Winning, lose, that is Krishna's choice. I did my part for Krishna's pleasure. Fight for Krishna. Do business for Krishna. Clean the house for Krishna. Wear clothes for Krishna. Everything should be for Krishna, not for my pleasure. Very simple thing. See, if we live our life like that, we are Krishna conscious. That's how we are supposed to live by being Krishna conscious. Read.
To be a good man or non-violent man is a personal is a personal attachment, but to act on behalf of the Supreme is to act without attachment for the result.
See, to be a good man or a bad man is a attachment. Being good or being bad, both are attachment. Both are not encouraged. No, don't be good, don't be bad. Be devotee. Act on behalf of Krishna. That is expected. Don't bother about being good or being bad. No, act for Krishna's pleasure. Okay. Don't be attached to result. Offer results for Krishna's pleasure. Read.
That is perfect action for the highest degree, recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Mhm.
Vedic rituals like prescribed sacrifices are performed for purification of impious activities that were performed in the field of sense gratification.
Wait. Here it is said Vedic script principles are practiced for purification of impious activities. So your impious activities which you have done, this reaction is going to come. But now you should not perform impious activity. Your activity should be purified to perform only pious activities. So So when we are practicing Vedic scriptural principles, then we stop impious activities and act piously. And in this way, our impious activities are getting purified. Read further.
But action in Krishna consciousness is transcendental to the reactions of good or evil work.
Hmm. That's what. Good, bad, no. Be devotee. Arjuna, he killed Bhishma Pitama. Someone may say it is bad. It's not good. Bhishma Pitama, he was he is fighting with Shikhandi and Arjuna is shooting arrows upon him. It's not good. Or someone may say, it's not good that the lie about the Ashwatthama elephant being killed is propagated just to kill Dronacharya. It's like that so many things could be not good. No. If it is done for Krishna's pleasure, it's all good. Hmm. Read.
A Krishna conscious person has no attachment for the result, but act on behalf of Krishna alone.
Yeah, no attachment to result. Just Krishna's pleasure. That's what I'm saying. We all plan for the fruits, but plan for Krishna, not for yourself. Keep yourself, eye, me, and mind away. You will be very peaceful and happy. So, so just keep the material attachment away. Just be absorbed in Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. Read.
He engages in all kinds of activities, but is completely non-attached.
Yeah. So act without attachment. That means act for Krishna, not for yourself. Then you will act without attachment. So that's how we are supposed to perform our activities. So stop now. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, Devi.